In chapter 2015, the emotional storm triggered by the revelation of Mrs. Stone's potential connection to the Farrell family continues to brew. Serenity, understanding the gravity of the situation for her aunt, suggests a walk to provide Mrs. Stone with some space and time to collect her thoughts. As the trio disperses, Mrs. Stone, deep in contemplation, Serenity and Elisa taking a stroll, a poignant conversation unfolds. Mrs. Stone grapples with the magnitude of her past, contemplating the tragic loss of her family at the hands of her second aunt. The story explores into Mrs. Stone's internal struggle, portraying her resilience and determination to uncover the truth, despite the decades that have elapsed. Serenity's offer to support her aunt's quest for justice underscores the theme of familial unity and solidarity. Mrs. Stone's internal dialogue reflects the weight of her past and the uncertainty that lies ahead. Mrs. Stone's admission of the old social mores in which people frequently misrepresented their age in order to obtain better opportunities momentarily lessens the emotional depth of the story. Elisa's shock at her mother's revelation adds a light-hearted element that breaks the intensely emotional tone. The narrative then shifts to Elisa's concern for her mother's well being and her father's recent preoccupation with fishing. Her call to her fishing obsessed father introduces an element of comic relief as he earnestly discusses his fishing endeavors and plans to grill the day's catch for his wife. When Elisa tells her father about the seriousness of the situation and begs him to go home, the chapter takes a moving turn. Mr. Stone is initially confused and doesn't understand the possible complexity of his wife's past. This moment highlights the vast gap in understanding between the generations, emphasizing the secrecy surrounding Mrs. Stone's past.